Hi everybody, my name is Lory and I'm the host of Success Stories by Women podcast show, and today I have a special guest here for episode number 3. She's an amazing entrepreneur here in Las Vegas, and so we're going to be learning a little bit about her story, accomplishments, and advice. Okay, so hi Shakkeira, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about your story, your background.
Okay, so my name is Shakeirra, obviously. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I moved here to Vegas about 7 years ago.
Okay.
Me and my husband relocated together. 10 years ago, I started cooking, and I had a business partner, and we were cooking out of the hospital, and I was selling plates to all of the staff there.
Oh, wow.
And that's how my business started. And everyone loved the food. Me and my business partner, we were doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And he had another business on the side that took off. So we kind of separated and went our separate ways. And
okay.
I was in the medical field at the time.
Wow.
So I continued to just work in the hospital. I did medical records, and then my husband had the opportunity to relocate here in Vegas, so of course we came. And I started college. I was going to school to be an x-ray tech.
Oh, really?
I was going to school to become an x-ray tech, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't happy.
Right.
And I was trying to find what really truly made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of doing that, I had a tragic loss in the family, and it kind of set me back a little bit.
Right.
And I had to drop out of college,
mm-hmm.
and I also found out I was pregnant.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I have to make something happen. This obviously isn't my career path, and I started to reach out to different people to see if I could like rent out their space to cook. Because that's the only thing that made me happy.
Yeah.
And I went in business with another person,
mm-hmm.
and it was going well. And I was like running his like corner store,
mm-hmm.
kitchen space, and everything was going well. And something happened, and he had to leave the space, so I had to go too. And that was the second time I tried to launch the business, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I was like, I'm just going to focus on work. I'm just going to focus on providing for my family, and I kind of left the cooking alone for a minute. But I also fell into a deep depression because, again, I wasn't happy, and I was also mourning the death of my brother.
Right.
While being pregnant.
Yeah,
so
a lot.
I lost everything, and in the midst of that time, I was watching Steve Harvey,
mm-hmm.
and he had a 21 jump challenge. So for 21 days, it was like you had to complete something on the list, and one of those things was like finding your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just took that, and I was like, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not happy. So I started like a little food page, and I would like create meals and post them online and things like that. So I started to get a lot of attention. And last year I had another child,
mm-hmm.
and she was like the fire that made me be like, okay, I really have to push this full-fledged. And I started a meal prep business. So I trained with my trainer, and we kind of had a deal that she would train me and I would do her meal preps.
Right.
So once I started doing those meal preps, I started getting a lot of attention. So I decided to go public with it, and then that's how Keys to the Kitchen started.
Right.
And I was just starting off doing meal preps. And
that's
then it
amazing.
Just went off from there. So now I'm like full-fledged catering, private chef services. It's amazing.
That's amazing, and I appreciate you sharing. I mean, it's a tough, situation that you were in, but one of the reasons I wanted to create this platform is to just share how many different stories there are out there for women. There is no one linear path.
No.
You know, so for example, like when I went to college, I went in for communications. I switched to business along the way, and I had to take a semester off. Definitely doesn't compare, you know, to the loss of your brother, but I just had to take a semester off because I didn't have money. And it's like a sad reality. Like sometimes people don't finish college, and it's okay. And sometimes you have to take 10 years, and that's okay too.
That's okay.
You know, but I definitely learned that lesson too. You know, I thought I was going to be in a different career than where I am now, and that's one of the things that I'm hearing common from a lot of the guests for the podcast, is at the end of the day it comes to finding out what makes you happy.
Exactly.
You know, and really finding that what's your purpose as well. And most of the time too, helping people, you know, for example, like for you, by doing the meal preps and really focusing on your passion, you're able to help more people. Yeah. I'm one of those person that needs help with the meal prep. I can work out 7 times a week, but the food, let me tell you, that's the hardest part.
I got you.
Yeah, definitely. And now you're in magazines. I mean, that's how I heard of you.
Really?
So I saw you in one of the Vegas magazines that featured entrepreneurs, and I said, I need her in my show.
And I'm so happy you called. That was like a big thing for me, because, you know, I started this in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And a lot of businesses went under, and I'm just so thankful and just so blessed that I was able to sustain and provide for my family during that season. And I just feel bad for, you know, the families that couldn't really survive it.
Right.
And, you know, the people that we lost along the way. So
yeah, definitely the transitions, and like you said, it's been a big challenge overall. So I can definitely relate with that. So as far as, you know, your business growing and as you're going through challenges in life, do you ever have a mentor that can help you through that? Do you believe in mentors?
To be honest, I don't have a mentor currently, but I do definitely believe in mentors. I believe in people that set foundations for others and kind of pave the way so they can see that, you know, like how we stated earlier, there's not just one way to get to the top.
Yeah.
People go through different things in life, and everyone's story is different, and I love that, because it makes your success unique to you. And if I could say anything, it would be like, don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep the momentum, because becoming stagnant and staying consistent with being okay with where you're at is never going to get you, you know, to the next level. You have to push yourself.
Definitely. And so what do you usually do to stay motivated? Because I know for me, when COVID happened, having to transition jobs, relocated from California, all sorts of things, you know, the motivation was the hardest part for me. But I did actually stay busy by having weekly calls with other women. So what usually helps you as far as staying motivated?
Honestly, it's really just the consistency. It's like emotional intelligence that you have to have, and being strong-minded. And it's so easy to just become so stagnant and not push yourself. And I think that's where a lot of people mess up. It's because they see other success and they think that, oh, she got success overnight.
Right.
But really, she's been putting in this grind and being consistent. And you have to keep the momentum going. It's like emotion, like energy and motion together. The energy that you put out is what you're going to attract. So it's like a full circle.
Definitely. And you mentioned something key there, emotional intelligence. Now, I discovered emotional intelligence through 10 years of doing personal development, but a lot of people don't know like what that entails, right? So for me, emotional intelligence is like being aware of what you're feeling, being aware of why you're having certain thoughts.
Exactly.
Where did you start getting into personal development and kind of like this grit? Where does that come from? Because it's amazing and it's not common, as you mentioned, it's not common.
It's just been years. Like, you know, my story, I didn't really go all the way into depth, but just years of trials and misfortune. It makes you have a thicker skin.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that I feel like is out of my grasp or out of my reach, if I know that it's attainable and I train my mind to know that it's attainable, I'm going to get it.
Right, right.
So you just can't get sad, like if you see someone else and they look like they're succeeding and you're doing the same thing, you just don't know what it is. You can't get emotional about that. You have to be smarter and train your mind to be bigger than your heart.
Definitely. And that's true, especially with, you know, Instagram, social media, Facebook, TikTok, what have you. I'm always a firm believer, you know, you see someone, they have the amazing body, they have the amazing car, the amazing house, and it could make you feel like, man, I'm so behind. You know, like for me, I'm 30 and I'm like, oh, I should have 10 houses by now, whatever it is, you know? But now I kind of like, I see it so for face value, like, okay, they have the house, they have the car, but that's their journey. It's an image that most people try to uphold and, you know, put on the face in front of others, but it's not the case. Most of those people probably aren't even happy. That's true. Yeah, we run across that sometimes. That it's not fulfilling, and it could be, it could not. We don't know, but all we're seeing is a picture. We don't know how many people are behind that image, how many years.
And like I stated, you never know what they went through to get there. They may have went through the storm and the rain, and they're reaping the benefits of their labor. You know, that they put in work 10 years ago.
Exactly.
So now they're actually able to reap the benefits, and it's like you can't really judge people, but I just look at it like, don't try to put yourself in other shoes. Just walk your path.
Stay focused, keep going, like you said, always keep that consistency. That's very important.
That's the key for me. That's what helped my success. It's just, I just never, even if I got one like, no shares, I'm still going to post it, and I'm still going to promote my business. I'm still going to promote my brand.
Definitely.
So you have to stay consistent.
That's
Someone's
important.
going to see it. People see it. Even if they don't interact, they see it.
That's true. That's true. And then sometimes it could be that one like does turn into that customer, or that one like turns into like a connection, like how we're meeting through Instagram is how we got connected. So yeah, that's important. Don't give up if you're just starting off your page.
Don't give up. Please stay consistent.
Definitely. So what is one piece of advice you would give a woman that's going through like a transformational moment, whether it's career, whether it's family, or anything else that really, you know, is a transformation? What's one piece of advice?
One piece of advice that I can say is keep your energy balanced. Try not to overthink so much. It's really about energy, and I do believe in like the law of attraction. Whatever you put out into the universe, it's going to come back. So if you're in the middle of a transformation and you're trying to get to a next level, always speak life into yourself. Every morning I do affirmations, and you know, I speak that to my kids, to my husband, and to all of my friends around me, because I pour life into them, they're going to pour life into me. And it's like you have to water the plants surrounding you for your garden to look, you know, beautiful and bloom. So I would say just, you know, balance your energy, and just try not to be so negative. Just try not to be so negative, and just look for the positive.
That's true. That's important. And I like how you made that comment about watering or keeping what's around you also healthy. Mental, energy, spiritual, whatever that means.
All of that.
But whatever you're surrounded by, you're going to pick up on it. I'm a big believer on that too. I start my day with yoga. I meditate. If I'm really busy, I say, okay, I'll do 5 minutes. But just something to like center myself.
Center yourself. Exactly. Get your chakras in line.
No, definitely. It makes a huge difference. Now, being that you have a business, you're a mom, you're doing so many amazing things, what does balance look like to you in that scenario?
Balance to me looks like 12 hours of catering for an event, and the next day I'm off spending time with my family. That's balance for me. It's really a balance, because the career path that I'm in currently, it does consume a lot of my time. And you know, it can become stressful because I am like the sole owner and it's just me. And I try not to get so overwhelmed, and the balance is really just my family and my friends and the people that ground me and keep me down to earth. That's important. You can do both. One day you're doing 20-hour shifts, and then the next day you're like turning off the phone, and I'm going to focus at what's in front of me. That's important. That's very important. I don't have kids myself, but I do have 4 nieces and nephew, and so they're in California. So when I visit, I say, okay, I'm here for you guys. I'm playing with you. But then when I'm here for work, I'm here for work. And it's just like a switch. It's like when I'm working, I'm in full chef mode, full business owner mode, and when I'm at home, I don't really try to interact with the business side.
Right.
So I just put my kids first, put my husband first, and most importantly, God.
Right.
We are centered on that. So
that's important. Yeah, we have certain things in my relationship where it's like we do this every Sunday. We go to church.
Yep.
And even if we're traveling, we find a church to go to.
Wow,
because we
amazing.
find that that's important. You know, amidst the business and amidst the bustle and going in this, stay focused, and it keeps you grounded, I think.
Yep, I agree.
Definitely. So one of the things I was scared of growing up is I always thought that I had to choose career and or family. Like my idea of the perfect career, I wanted to be like the CEO, executive level, and all these things. But all the women that I saw in the corporate world, they either started their family really late, or they didn't have family because they dedicated it to a career.
Right.
You know, so now I'm becoming aware that you can have both.
You definitely can.
Yes.
It's obtainable. It really is. It's just a balance that you just have to stay consistent on.
That's what I kind of wanted to ask you, is like, any advice for that woman that's kind of in between that thought? Like for me, I got rid of my fear. I'm like, you know, when the kids come, they come, and I'll take care of that. But did you have any type of fears of, like, would kids impact your career or vice versa, losing yourself, as I've heard some women say?
So I have 2 kids. I have a boy and a girl. Like I stated before, my first son came after the death of my brother.
Yeah.
And I used that as motivation to jumpstart my career. And then after I had my daughter last year, she's a pandemic baby. After I had my daughter last year, that was just like the fire.
Yeah.
So for me, it was motivation. They gave me another reason to even go harder.
Right.
And that's what I really do this for, is for them, because when I'm long gone, they'll have something left that they can continue to grow from and probably pass on to their kids. So
that's powerful. Yeah, definitely. So I agree. If anything, it's a motivation to go bigger and work harder.
And if you don't have kids and you're trying to have kids, like, that's perfectly fine. Like, it's your life, and you have to do what makes you happy. So tackle your career. If you fall in love and, you know, you have kids, that's even more of a blessing to be thankful for. So don't stress yourself out about it. Like, God's timing is impeccable.
I agree. And that's one of the reasons I created this podcast, is because we have all these societal norms. And sometimes you feel like if you're not in this mold, you're not in the right stage, or you're not in the right route. And so that's what I'm here to show, honestly. It's like there are no societal norms.
I'm telling you.
And if they are, toss them out the window.
Just, like, don't even think about them, because society nowadays is like, it's kind of scary because they paint an image of what the typical female should look like, or what the typical man should look like, and that's not
right.
You know, you have to live for yourself and try not to let the outside world affect your internal peace.
Exactly. Yeah. All these norms and expectations, if anything, it causes stress.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, it's toxic. I look at it as the toxic world, and I eliminate any distractions, anything that I feel would compromise me, my family, or my business.
Not necessary.
Yeah, just leave it where it's at, because it's like a bad fruit. You got a molding orange in a basket with healthy oranges. It's going to infect the others, and it's all going to spread.
That's true.
So just remove the negative, the toxic environment, so it doesn't affect your internal peace.
That's very, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Do you come from a family of entrepreneurs?
Actually, I am the first entrepreneur in my family. I'm actually the first to actually do anything, to leave home.
That's
like,
amazing.
All of my family, they're back home, and they are fully supportive of what I'm doing. But sometimes you don't realize what's a distraction until you're away. And I know people attach themselves to family a lot. But sometimes it's okay to break away from them. Still keep a healthy relationship with them. But sometimes you have to isolate yourself, because isolation causes discipline, and discipline it births success in my eyes.
There's nothing else you can do but get something good out of it.
Get something done. Like, you don't have no other distractions, so all you can do is have tunnel vision and focus on, like, what's that what's at the end of the road.
Right, right. It's very true, because especially because you moved from Florida, you're from the East Coast, now you're in the West Coast, so you pretty much had two options, you know, create new friendships that maybe could be in the old habits, or just start fresh and build up from there.
And moving to Vegas has been one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's the best decision that I've ever made, just because I was able to focus on self. And
here you are now with the thriving business.
Yeah. And I'm just, you know, I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of, my mother has 8 kids and my father has 8 kids. And I'm the second oldest besides my brother who passed. So now I'm the oldest, and I have all of these siblings looking up to me. So it's like, I can't like fail. So it's pressure, but it's good pressure.
Definitely. And I can definitely relate with that. I'm the oldest of 3, so not as many. but I definitely felt that feeling of not like, almost like you worry, like I'm the oldest, I should be close, obligated, like you feel obligated to like stay close to family, obligated to be there, be the big sis, you know, guide them. But there was a key moment that allowed me to be able to give myself the okay to move, was speaking with my partner, and he asked me one thing. He said, by you staying here, do you think that that guarantees your success? Or by you moving, are you potentially going to open up the door for other type of success? And that's when I knew. I was like, I've been living here for X years. I already know I already tapped out the potential. It was a small town. You know, nothing against my small town.
No,
I love
totally
it, and it's still my hometown, and I still visit. But I knew I had tapped out those connections. I knew that there was only X amount I could do there.
It's exhausted.
Yeah. And so that's when I made the jump. And just like you, this has been the best decision I've ever made, because here I am with the podcast show, it's 3 sources of income, you know, traveling at least once a month. And yeah, it just shows you that there's a bigger world too.
Yep. I totally agree. He hit it right on the head. Like I stated before, you never know what's really a distraction until it's away from you.
Right.
My husband, he tells me that all the time. Like, how far can you really go? There, you know? And Vegas is just such a big city, and it's like a tourist place. So for me, in my line of business, it's perfect. Back home in my small city, we don't get many people there. It's just, you know, your neighbor, your neighbor down the street, and it's not really as flourishing, I would say. So I just had to take the step, and I'm happy that I did.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think sometimes taking that first step, that helps you with everything else that comes after, and getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and don't be scared.
Yeah.
Do not be scared.
Definitely. So where can people contact you, or where can they connect with you? They, you know, follow you on Instagram, place some orders. And by the way, do you travel for catering events?
I do travel.
Oh, okay.
I was just in Arizona.
That's amazing.
I travel, so all you have to do is just ask, and I'll be there.
What kind of food is it?
So I specialize in Southern cuisine, and I do a fusion between Caribbean and Asian flavors. Oh,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to try it out. I was telling him out there that I was going to cater you guys lunch. So
that's amazing.
You'll have an opportunity to taste it.
Yeah, that's one of the hard parts about being in Nevada. There's so much good food, and I'm such a foodie. So like, I literally schedule out when I'm going to try new places.
But you guys can connect with me online. I'm on Yelp. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Google, Keys to the Kitchen with the number 2.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and we'll stay connected, definitely. I mean, this is just the beginning, and sometimes people do a part 2 because we get questions asked, and so we'll definitely stay connected.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.